The BMW M2. It's the baby of all the M cars, not just in size, but in horsepower, price, and in just about every other way you can think of. However, you can't let its lesser specifications fool you. Its turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 packs quite a punch, and even more in this M2 as it is equipped with a Boot Mod 3 tune which bumps power output well over 400 horsepower. And when things get technical out on a back road or on the track, it has a Genie differential that drags you around corners as if you were on a lasso. With a 6-speed manual transmission, a performance exhaust, and a downpipe, this seems to be a very respectable setup. Let's see what this thing is about.
Here we are in the 2017 BMW M2. Every single YouTuber that I know says that this is the best M car for sale right now. And I think I agree with the majority of them. Doug DeMuro, the Straight Pipes, Throttle House, they all say this is the best M car that you can buy. And I think I see why. This car comes from the factory with 365 horsepower and 341 foot-pounds of torque. But I am in a specially modified BMW M2, and it has an M Performance exhaust, and it has a tune which allows it to crank out more than 400 horsepower so that you can do this right here. Wow! This car is a sub 4-second car, easily sub 4 seconds. I just drove a Mustang GT. You know the 5.0 Coyote V8 engine and how much horsepower it has. This has the same amount of horsepower almost, but it weighs significantly less. This car has a curb weight of 3,400 pounds, and it allows it to pull like you would never believe. It puts you right back in your seat. It hits you right in the chest, and it handles incredibly well. I'm gonna slip it into sport mode, and did you hear that pop? Everything in this car is so dialed in. I feel like I'm connected with the road. I feel like I am one with this car. It is unbelievable, and just that extra punch from that performance tune makes this car what it should have been when it came from the factory back in 2017. I am absolutely blown away. The steering is nice and heavily weighted. It feels like any direction that I point this car, it is gonna go. It inspires confidence like you would never ever believe. Just wow. Okay. This car comes equipped with a special M differential, and can I tell you, it's electronically assisted, and I floored it. I completely floored it around that corner that I just went around, and it did not slip, it did not fight me, it did not disobey, it did not rebuke me. It said, he wants to go around that corner, he shall go around that corner. This car gives you an unbelievable amount of confidence. And not to mention, I am in the base model, so that means that I have the 6-speed manual transmission and not the dual clutch transmission that would make this car significantly less fun. This manual is very slick, it is very snickety. It gives you more control over this car than you even have with it being an automatic. And the gears are very, very aggressive. You can see by the pulls I did back there that they are just insane. Oh my gosh. But everything in this car just feels good. I feel like I have a good driving position. I'm 6'5", and I fit in here like a glove. It's kind of hard to get in and get out, but nonetheless, it's wonderful. And I mentioned sport mode. Sport mode makes the exhaust pop like that, and it gives some heft to the steering wheel. I cannot explain to you just the joy that I have from driving this car. And do you hear that automatic? Do you hear that automatic rev matching? Paired with this exhaust, and you know, the extra backfires that come from this Boot Mod 3 tune that the owner has installed on this car, it is joy sensation. Somebody pulled me over and said, what kind of exhaust do you have on that car? And he was absolutely wild. Like, words don't do it justice. Take a listen to all the different modes that you can have with this exhaust. Now it has a flap that is electronically controlled, so it can open and close depending on how loud you want the exhaust to be. So take a listen at all the different configuration settings. And the way that the boost comes on in this car, it has that kind of kick in the pants at like 3,000 or 4,000 RPM. There's an unbelievable, honestly, an unacceptable amount of turbo lag from down low because of this is a single turbo, but it is a twin scroll, but still it's a single turbo, and there's an unbelievable amount of turbo lag. But when it kicks in, it smacks you in the face like your mama. I mean, maybe my mama just smacked me in the face. All right. I'm not gonna talk about that. We'll edit that out. Anyways, I love it. It's an amazing car. These inline sixes are absolute joys to drive. So things you'll also know about this car is because of the really stiff suspension, it's not adaptive, by the way. So you can't really change it from comfortable. It's always go fast, go hard. It's always in that kind of suspension setting. So you will get a lot of road noise, and you'll get a lot of jarring over bumps. But if you can ignore that, you have an absolute amazing track day car. I'm honestly, this thing has me at a loss for words right now. This is a tunnel full send. Are you ready? Let's do it. Wow. So for the exterior of the BMW M2, this is quite a lovely looking car. It's very understated. It's almost sleeperish, but it does have hints that let you know that it's a serious car and it's a serious force to be reckoned with. I love the aggressive body kit that it has. I love the quad outlet exhaust. I think just like the M3, it really makes a statement about what this car is capable of. I love this blue color. I think it really pops, especially in the daytime, in the sunlight. And I love the beautiful rims that have kind of like the black inserts. Those are really, really cool looking, especially when you're moving at a slow speed. It's absolutely amazing. And those tires are wrapped in the Continental Sport Contact 6 tires, which I can say they're very wide on this car, and they are very, very aggressive tires, and they really allow this car to just bite down when you really put your foot into it. Now, from every angle, I don't know how I feel about the M2. Like I said, it is a beautiful car, but there's some angles that I feel like are just a bit odd on this car. They look a little bit out of place. Like the taillights, I don't know. I don't think I'm the biggest fan of them. I mean, they don't look like they belong on a car that's expensive as this one is. That's just my opinion. A lot of people enjoy the looks of this car, and definitely if you're out on the street, this car will get you looks and stares, especially with this sport tuned exhaust. But that's all audible details. But anyways, lots of things on this car that are just a joy to look at. So for the interior of the BMW M2, I am not the biggest fan of it. You know, I know the M2 is performance on a budget. You know, this car sticker for $50,000 to $60,000 when it was brand new. But I just feel that BMW, knowing what BMW is capable, I feel like they could have done a little bit better in here. There's too much black in here. There's way, way, way too much black in here. I feel like it just doesn't look as, you know, luxurious as it should. The seats just don't look like they belong in this car. They look like you can put them like in a regular Model 2 series, and like I don't feel too strongly. Like, I mean, look at like the M that's like kind of embroidered in there, just looks like out of place. It looks like they just kind of like tacked that on, and I don't like that for a car that I'm paying $60,000 for. I mean, I know, and I say it again, I know people say, oh, you know, all the money went towards the engine and all these other things, but no, I want it to feel like a BMW inside. You'll notice that there's nice carbon fiber accents in here. There's a lot of soft touch materials everywhere. If you feel, there are some hard plastics underneath, on the lower portions of the dashboard, and well, I don't like that, and that kind of goes. It kind of continues my point. It just doesn't feel like as expensive as it is, but things can be a little bit odd in here. The button to unlock the door is in the center console here. I don't know why it's not in the door. I mean, there's plenty of space for it over here. BMW, I don't really understand that. This turn signal, it takes a while to get used to it, because it's one of those turn signals that apparently knows when you've like switched lanes and it automatically turns off. I don't like that. I want to be able to just flick it on and off, because what I end up doing is just going like back and forth, flicking it, trying to figure out, trying to make sure that it's pointing the right direction for whatever lane that I'm changing. I don't really like that at all. The gauges, they're really, really nice, very simple, you know, kind of classic BMW. They have the numbers, you know, they're analog, but they look so basic, but at the same time, they feel expensive, and I love it. They have a kind of like a nice little digital cluster at the bottom that if you also have navigation enabled, it'll kind of give you the directions down there. So while it's so classic, it's also innovative. Leading from the gauges into the infotainment system, this iDrive system it's good, but it's way too complicated to use. If you want to just jump in the car, hook up your phone, pick a radio station, satellite radio presets, it is not easy to do. It's not easy to do that in this car. Like, I got in here and I fumbled with the infotainment system for nearly 20 minutes before I could figure out how to connect my phone, and it's not user intuitive. And I don't know if this is improved on newer BMW's iDrive systems, but on this one, it's kind of pain. But besides that, you know, it's controlled by the center knob here. And the center knob is nice. It has a nice aesthetic feel to it, most like all the other buttons in here. While I said that I'm not the biggest fan of this interior, the buttons and the steering wheel and everything else do feel nice. They just don't look as nice as they feel. Anyways, back to the navigation system. The scroll wheel can be a little bit difficult to use at times. Nonetheless, it gets the job done. If you learn how to use the iDrive system, you won't have any problems with it. This has a Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds amazing. We kicked the bass up all the way last night, and this thing hits. Like, there's got to be a sub somewhere in this car. There's Spotify integration if you're just connected to Bluetooth. No Apple CarPlay, which I'm not thrilled about, but nonetheless, I can still live with this interior. Anyways, I think the only way to get this car is with the executive package. Otherwise, you're missing a lot of solid creature comforts that would be missed on a base model M2. So my time with the BMW M2 is almost over. I'm sad that it's coming to a close. If you haven't driven a BMW M2, I highly recommend that you do so. You can find these ones on the used car market for, my best guess would probably be around $30,000, maybe $40,000. Not everything is perfect about the BMW M2, especially this 2017 model year. A lot of the things that I had problems with were addressed in the M2 competition, which came a year or two later. But this is a solid used car bargain for anyone who needs a performance coupe. You know, this isn't practical, you know, for daily driving in Boston where I live, but this is certainly fun for anybody who has nice weather every day, who consistently goes to a track, who wants a really, really balanced car. Look no further. So if you like this video, if you like this review, please subscribe to the Car Splaining channel, and there will be more amazing content just like this video right here to come in the future, and you do not want to miss it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
So while everything on the BMW M2 is not perfect, at the end of the day, no one can deny how much of a performance machine it is. The underwhelming interior may be disappointing, especially in a Beamer, But I can't lie, it was the absolute last thing on my mind when I was seriously driving this car. If it is a real problem for you, step up to the M4 or even the M5, and I promise you won't be let down. As for the enthusiast on a budget, my friends, the BMW M2 is an incredibly solid option, and I don't think you should look past it. Check it out.